Count your unfinished hobbies. Right now, honestly. The instrument, the language app, the course you abandoned at Module 4, the gear in the closet. If you got past 5, the world has probably already given you its two favorite explanations. Either you're a quitter with no discipline, or it's just ADHD and your focus is broken. And you've been quietly carrying one or both of those verdicts around for years, adding a little more guilt with every new thing you start and don't finish. Take a breath, because there's a third explanation almost nobody talks about, and it changes everything. What if your brain isn't failing at specialization? What if it's doing something more advanced than specialization, and nobody ever told you what it was? If you've been on this channel before, you know you're a pattern weaver, a mind that connects instead of digs. But there's a specific type of weaver, a specialization within that identity, that explains the hobby hopping better than anything else. It's called the intersectional brain. A mind that isn't collecting hobbies at all. It's collecting intersections, the rare places where two unrelated fields meet, because that's where all the value it cares about actually lives. Let me show you how it works, why your quitting was never quitting, and why this exact wiring is about to become the most economically valuable kind of mind in the room. If that already sounds like the inside of your head, you've found your people. Subscribe, and let's go. The dabbling myth. You weren't quitting, you were harvesting. Here's the reframe that dissolves 20 years of guilt in one move. When a specialist starts a hobby, the goal is mastery. Climb the whole mountain however long it takes. So when they stop, it's failure, because the goal was the summit. Your brain was never climbing toward the summit. It was extracting the mental model. An intersectional brain enters a new field and works with ferocious speed until it understands how the field thinks, the core patterns, the logic, the shape of the thing. And the moment it has that model, the moment the field becomes predictable, your interest collapses. Not because you're weak, because the extraction is complete. The harvest is in. You didn't quit guitar. You harvested how rhythm and harmony work and how physical skill is built. You didn't quit coding. You harvested how systems think. Every so-called abandoned hobby left a working mental model in your head, a puzzle piece. And your brain moved on to the next field because it was never after the mountain. It was after the pieces. The world calls that dabbling. It's actually systematic collection. The guilt only exists because you were measuring yourself against a goal you never actually had. Why the pieces matter? The intersection is the product. So what are all the pieces for? This is where the intersectional brain earns its name. Real innovation almost never comes from the middle of one field. It comes from the collision points, where an idea from one domain solves a problem in another. The person who knows psychology and software builds things neither the psychologist nor the engineer could imagine. The person who harvested storytelling and data and design sees products that 3 separate specialists would each miss. Your brain has been assembling exactly this. Every harvested model is a puzzle piece, and the picture only appears when pieces from distant boxes get combined. That's why you were never satisfied staying in one field. One field only ever contains one kind of piece. The intersections, the places where your weird collection overlaps, are where the things only you can see start to appear. And here's the economic punchline. In a world where AI is rapidly becoming the best specialist in every single field, the deep, narrow knowledge is becoming cheap. What stays rare and gets more valuable is the mind that connects across fields, that pilots a dozen specialist outputs and weaves them into something whole. The specialist is easier to replace than ever. The intersectional brain is the one doing the thing machines can't yet do, choosing which fields to collide and seeing what the collision means. Your hobby graveyard isn't a record of failure. It's an inventory of puzzle pieces most people will never own. The cost: seeing what others can't. One honest note, because this wiring has a price. Seeing intersections others miss can be lonely. You make a connection across 3 fields, watch the room blink politely, and feel like you're speaking a language from somewhere else. If that loneliness has ever made you hide the way you think, know that the problem was never the thinking. It was the audience. Your people exist. They think in collisions too. And finding them starts with stopping the hiding. So here's what I want you to take with you. You were never a quitter. You were never just broken focus. You were a collector of mental models, running a harvesting strategy nobody around you had a name for, assembling an inventory of intersections that is quietly becoming the most valuable kind of mind in the modern economy. Stop apologizing for the graveyard. Start combining the pieces. If this finally put words on what your brain has been doing all along, subscribe and join the pattern weavers who are learning what their collections are for. And tell me in the comments, what are 2 fields you've harvested that might secretly combine into something? Drop them below. The intersections in this comment section are going to be wild. Thanks for watching. Now go collide something.